What's up, YouTube? It's a Jack Crypto Guy bringing you a very time-sensitive update. We're coming up on the monthly close for October. We highly anticipated this was going to be the bullish month going into quarter four. There was a lot of speculation that Bitcoin was going to be, well into like the $140,000, $150,000 range. That has not been the case. We've had a record level of liquidations. There's just seemingly like so much manipulation across the board. We have treasuries unwinding. There's just a lot of uncertainty in general, especially coming off the back of like a really poor economy. Obviously, like the numbers aren't going to support that, but when you look around, we have like record delinquencies when it comes to credit card debt. We have the car repo market pretty much surging, I think above like 50 or 60%, which basically means they're not making their payments on their vehicles. There's a lot of credit systems, I think, that are also breaking, and I think that a lot of the fallout is still kind of being played out. I don't think that we're done seeing, even like with the whole record liquidation event on October 10th, I think that there's going to be some dominoes to fall. It's just not really, it takes time for these things to kind of unwind. And when you look at the crypto market, things feel very off. They feel kind of weird, and it's very uncertain. There's a mixed bag across the board when it comes to even the people that I really highly respect. Half of them are kind of on the fence, we're still bullish, or the other side is oh, it's over, we're going to go down to 60 or 70K because, we're in a bear cycle now. I'm not really of that opinion just yet. I think that there's going to be a few signs to kind of look for. So the number one sign, I think, is based on moving averages and where we are structurally when it comes to just basic technical analysis. And that's obviously not the one thing that you want to hold on to, but it's one thing to really pay attention to when it comes to where we are on the cycle. So the biggest thing, I think, is if we can hold around 98K or higher on a monthly or ideally a weekly first. If we can obviously wick below that, of course, but I think that if we start breaking that trend definitively, we're going to go down. And I think that the second area of support is going to be kind of in the lower 90s. I would really not want to see us breaking anything below 90K. The reason why I say 90K is because there's a huge CME gap around $92,000, and historically those always kind of get filled, and I wouldn't rule out that that could be the case before going higher and then maybe ripping one more time into quarter four, or we just continue to go higher into the next year and things just kind of play out, because this isn't a traditional cycle. I think that we're going to go into quantitative easing sometime in December. I think that money's going to be cheaper, and I think that inflation, relatively speaking, is going to be manageable. Not to mention, just the economy is so uncertain right now that I just don't think that they're going to let the economy or anything fail. And the stock market's obviously at all-time highs. I think that that's going to continue to trade higher as we start to kind of go into this AI kind of world. So until those price targets are kind of hit, or it's around there, I won't really worry too much. I think that this is a really important time to kind of take a step back on your portfolio and take a look at what you're holding, because in the event that we do go into this bear cycle, anything that's very speculative, or altcoins or anything like that, especially meme coins, they're going to go down 60, 70, 80%. And at the very least, it's probably worth considering consolidating your very speculative altcoins into at least blue chips Ethereum, Solana, BNB, things like that. Now, my whole thing is Bitcoin accumulation, because I think long term, I think Bitcoin is going to be the most surefire crypto to kind of stand the test of time. So there's even people that kind of consolidate all of their altcoins into Bitcoin and just kind of want to wait this out, because you'll still maintain your exposure to the crypto market. But if we go, severely down, they're not, Bitcoin's not going to perform as poorly as these altcoins. Altcoins tend to go down, like I said, 80% on average. So I think that that's a viable strategy. For me, I've kind of consolidated most of my more speculative altcoins into Solana, Sui, and then Bitcoin, obviously. And obviously, short term, you can do some low leverage trading, but I don't recommend that for anybody, because most traders do lose. I kind of just take flyers, and I have really tight stop losses, things of that nature. Another thing to consider is a lot of people are very confused, and they're kind of just staring at charts, and it's just there's a lot of PTSD, because last cycle a lot of people lost most of their gains. Typically what happens is you put in some money, and then it goes up crazy, and then you end up round tripping it, which basically means you kind of go back to zero, or around what you pretty much invested in, because you never took profits. So another thing to consider is maybe, if you have made some profits, maybe take 25% off the table, just so you have something to show for it. And then if things go higher, then maybe you buy it, you scale up a little bit more, but at least you're mitigating your downside. Now, obviously, this is a very fast moving market. I'm still bullish on quarter four. I think that there's a good chance that we continue to trade higher. It's just nothing's for sure. So make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, share this video with a friend, and as always, ask me your crypto questions below. I'll see you all soon. Bye.